Over the course of this pandemic, Australians have worked so hard and sacrificed so much to come together and save lives and save livelihoods. The phenomenal response from Australians to go and get vaccinated, as we've seen those vaccination rates rise right across the country, means it's now time that Australians are able to reclaim their lives. We're beating COVID and we're taking our lives back. Whether you're in lockdown Melbourne or on the verge of opening up once again in Sydney, or living life near normal in Perth, we all have a cause for celebration today. We have now administered more than 30 million vaccines around the country. That's 82.2% of eligible over 16s who have had a first dose and 61.9% with both doses. In fact, of the whole population, more than half of Australians are now vaccinated. These are milestones that all Australians can celebrate, that all Australians should feel proud of what they've achieved. Our first dose vaccination rate is indeed higher than in Germany and the United States. Our first dose vaccination rate is higher than when the United Kingdom lifted restrictions. Freedoms for those in states that have been subject to lockdowns are very close. And all of those have been earned and hard won by those who went out, rolled up their sleeves and got their jab. Tomorrow, New South Wales will begin a new chapter. It will open up safely as part of our national plan and stay safely open. This will be a moment to cherish for people right across New South Wales. Reuniting with family and friends, having a beer with your mates at the pub, getting a haircut, going to the gym, all things that we once took for granted, but now we know are so important. New South Wales vaccination rate continues to steam ahead, driven by those amazing GPs and pharmacists all out there, with 73.5% of over 16s now fully vaccinated. The New South Wales Premier and I have been discussing how we can accelerate our plan to open international travel when home quarantine is made available. I know the New South Wales Government is looking at ways to fast-track home quarantine in November. And if that happens, we will be able to move to facilitate the opening up of the international border into New South Wales sooner. Now that would mean home quarantine for vaccinated Australians wishing to return home via Sydney, and giving the option for international travel for vaccinated Australians to leave and to return. Our high vaccination rates are having a dramatic effect on reducing COVID-19 cases in the community as well. Vaccinations are winning the fight, with daily case numbers in New South Wales now close to 1/3 of what they were at the height of the outbreak. The vaccines are doing the job. The vaccines are working. I can understand in Victoria just how tough the case numbers from today and the last few days must be. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel, as we're seeing in New South Wales, as Victorians continue to get vaccinated in record numbers, and I thank you for that. I welcome the Premier's announcement to safely reopen and get vaccinated crowds back at the Melbourne Cup and concerts at the Sydney Mire Music Bowl. Victorians have sacrificed so much, more than any right across the country, with the extent of lockdowns that they've had. So much during the course of this pandemic, and this must be very welcome news. But more importantly, for friends and family, it means they will soon be able to be reunited and share again so many of those lost moments that they've had in the past few years. We can't be complacent. We still have to take one step at a time, safely, and ensure we always put that safety goal first as we reopen our country. The ACT has now hit over 95% first dose and 72.8% fully vaccinated today. Both New South Wales and the ACT would actually rank, if they were countries, in the top 10 in the OECD. In terms of first dose vaccinations, that is an amazing achievement. Victoria isn't far behind, with 85.5% of over 16s having had their first dose and 58.6% who are fully vaccinated. Victoria's first dose vaccination rate is now higher than the United Kingdom's. We're seeing strong progress across the rest of the country too. Tasmania, despite having virtually no COVID in the community, continues to see its vaccination level jump each and every day and is now just under 80% first dose. Western Australia and Queensland will very shortly break through the 70% first dose mark, while reaching over 50% double vaccination. We understand that every state is starting at a different point, but we all want the same ending, to bring our country together again and join the rest of the world. I know all premiers and chief ministers want to achieve that. That's what the national plan is all about, that we agreed to pursue. For lockdown states, it's about winning freedoms back. For others, it's about protecting the freedoms you've been fortunate to enjoy through the safe measures that have been taken. But for everyone, it's about getting back to living our lives as we once knew them, as best as we can. The vaccine supply is there for everyone, right now. There's steady progress across the board, and today I want to urge you, to everyone, please go and get that jab. Please go and get your second jab, and check with your friends and family if they've had the jab. Australia, it's been a battle of our generation. It's been long, it's been tough. There have been so many sacrifices, but we are well and truly getting there.